grade 2, we are back with our shapes discussion. Today we are talking about the properties of shapes. Now, we've talked about this a lot, there have been a lot of videos, but this is something that you will have to understand in order to be able to answer it. For 2D shapes, it's very simple. You have the sides and you have the corners. Okay, so if this is my 2D shape, how many sides? I count the straight lines. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 sides. Corners, I count the corners, the parts where 2 of the sides come together. 4 sides. Okay? I think generally you guys are okay with 2D shape properties. I actually want to directly jump into 3D shape properties, because this is where some of you guys get lost. For 3D shape properties, we have faces, we have edges, and we have vertices. Okay. It is, I will admit, it is tricky to see this shape and have to say, okay, this is how many corners, this is how many what. But, grade 2, the lines, oh sorry, I'm just giving myself a chair here. The lines that are at the back here are supposed to be dotted lines. I didn't do that now. But let's say we had, I'm going to keep it simple and do this. Okay, there we go. There are dotted lines. Every single line in the 3D shape, every single corner, vertex, every single point has, I almost wanted to say a meaning, matters, okay? When you see a 3D shape on the paper, do not think of it as a picture on the paper. See it as a shape that is standing in front of you. See it as a cuboid. See it as a tissue box. If you see this, imagine there's a pyramid in front of you, okay? That way, it will be easy to take into consideration the things that are behind the dotted lines, the things that are underneath or behind. So let's take a look at this one first. We want to know how many faces, we want to know how many vertices, and we want to know how many edges. First things first, the faces are all of the areas you can put your hand flat on. I can put my hand flat on this part. Let's do a cylinder as well. Okay, I can put my hand flat on this part of the shape. These are all of the big surface areas. And what I mean with that is the bottom of this shape, I will be able to put my hand flat on. So that's one of my faces. Now I have to think how, even though the picture is in front of you, think about the shape in real life. I already have the bottom, that's one. Now I'm imagining it standing up. At the side, this side that goes up, let me do this. If this is the bottom, there's a side that goes up this way, there's a side that goes up this way, there's a side that goes up this way, and there's a side that goes up at the back. You will have to see the shape in your mind. So, the bottom counts as one face, another face goes up the side, another face goes up the opposite side, another face goes up this side, and another face goes up that side at the back. So therefore we have 5 faces for this pyramid. Okay. Vertices are the pointy parts. So, since it's a pyramid, we already know there's one point at the top, but we cannot forget about the points at the bottom. The parts, I'm just going to write here, point. The parts where I can touch and it is a sharp corner. So here we have 1, 2, 3, 4 at the bottom, and we have the 5th one on top, so 5 vertices. And then for edges, edges are actually made easy on the paper more than it is in real life. For faces and vertices, I want you to think of the shape in real life. That makes it easier to see the shape and to be able to kind of work with it in your brain. But when it comes to edges, for me, let me just say for me, it's easier to just look at the picture, because all you do when it comes to edges, grade 2, is count the straight lines on the picture. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And those are the properties of my pyramid. Let's have a look at this one. We want to know the faces, we want to know the vertices, and we want to know the edges. The faces are the parts that I can put my hand flat on. So imagine a tissue box. That's easy because that's something that we have a lot in class. You have the face at the side and the other side, top, bottom, and then those other two sides. I just said that so wrong. Okay, so if you have the tissue box in your hand, pretend you're holding it in your hand. 1, 2, top, bottom, so that's 3, 4, and then the other two sides, 5, 6. So how many faces does a tissue box have? 6. If it is easier for you in some way to look at the picture and know the faces or find the faces of the shape, then do that, grade 2. Don't, just because I said imagine it in your head now, rule out everything else when you were fine looking at the shape for the faces. Then that's fine, my love. Then you're doing it, you're getting it right. I have no problem with that. Whichever method works for you. I personally found that it's easier if you imagine the shape in real life, and that way you can fill in all of its properties. Let's move on to the vertices, which are the points. These might also actually even be better on the picture itself, because what I like to do is I like to draw little circles. Here are some lines coming together, here are some lines coming together, here, there at the back, don't forget about the back, this front one, here, here, and here. Those are all of the parts where there are more than, where there is more than one line coming together. So now we just count the circles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So how many vertices? 8. And then we get to our straight lines, which is our edges. Just count all of the straight lines. So start. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. How many edges? 12. All right, now we're going to look at our cylinder. So we have faces, we have vertices, and we have edges. I quickly wanted to throw in here, most of you have absolutely no problem with shape identification. You guys know what the shape is, whether it's a 2D or a 3D shape, that's great. But the properties, which we haven't tested yet, I wanted to focus on now because a properties test is coming up soon, grade 2. So it's important that you guys make sure that you understand how to identify the properties of the shape as well. So let's look at the cylinder. How many faces? How many parts? But now you have to listen. Because if you look at the picture, it's with shapes like these where if you look at the picture, it might fool you. So when you see a 3D shape on a paper, imagine it in real life in front of you. So the cylinder, faces, flat areas. If I had a cylinder in front of me, which I actually do, this isn't the perfect cylinder, but it's my speaker. Okay. You have this face, the one on this side, and you have this face, the one on this side. The middle part of a cylinder, if I put my hand flat on it, is it still flat? No, I will have to curve my hand, and I don't want to do that for a face. I just want to put my hand flat on the sides. So 1 and 2. The top and the bottom. 2 faces. Vertices, how many pointy parts? Now, if you purely looked at the picture, you might think, okay, here's a pointy part, here's a pointy part, here's a pointy part. No. Think about the shape in real life. There are no points, there are no sharp corners on a cylinder. It is rounded in all of the areas where it connects, so 0 vertices. And then here with the edges, this is where things get tricky, because I just told you that you just count the straight lines. But I also told you to imagine the shape in your head. If you imagine the shape in your head, these two look like straight lines. So it might be easy to say, okay, it has 2 edges, but it doesn't. Think about it in real life. Those are just the lines to show this curve. These are not straight lines, grade 2. It's a curve all the way around. All right? So there are no straight lines. It looks straight because you have to draw the edge in some way, but this edge is not a straight line. That is why I said it's the most important to imagine the shape in your head before you start answering the properties. How many edges? 0. I'm going to do one more, but I'm going to think of something that's maybe a bit out of here. Let's do this. Let's do a pentagonal. Let's do a pentagonal prism and a pyramid. I think that would be good. And then let's do that. I always forget that I need to make the point. Okay, that's a terrible pyramid. It's leaning to the side, but whatever. Okay, so faces, vertices, edges, faces, vertices, edges. I want you to try and answer these 2 quickly. Take your time. Get a scrap piece of paper or use the back of your grammar paper. I really don't mind. And with a pencil, you don't even have to try and draw the shapes. You can just look at these shapes on my paper, on my page. And try and fill in the faces, vertices, and edges for me quickly. So pause the video and try to figure these 2 out from what I just said at the top. Try and figure out how many faces, how many vertices, how many edges. And then write that down quickly. So pause the video and do that. I'm going to move on to the part where I give you the answer. All right, faces in a pentagonal prism. Remember, it's a tube-like shape and it's a pentagon at the base, so it's a pentagonal prism. How many faces? Now, I imagine this shape in my hand. There's the one face this side and there's the one face at the back. Okay, start with the easy ones. Start with the ones you know. So I know there are already 2 faces at each side. Now I need to figure out how many faces around. Now we have I almost wanted to say the roof. The one on this side and the one on that side that make the little point. So there's another 2. So we already have 1, 2 for the one at the front and the back, and the 1, 2 from the 2 at the top. Now, as you can see, we have the one at the bottom that is lying flat and it's letting the shape stand up. So now we have another one already. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we cannot forget about the 2 at the side. These 2 that are keeping the pointy part and the base connected. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If you said a pentagonal prism has 7 faces, you are correct. Vertices, the pointy parts. I hope you drew your circles. Here is a space where more than one line connects. Here, there at the back, you always have to remember the back. These are all of the parts where more than one line connects. Now we just count our circles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So how many vertices does a pentagonal prism have? 10. Then we come to edges, the straight lines. Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So how many edges? 15. Okay. Good. If you said 15 edges for the pentagonal prism, that is correct. We are moving on to our pentagonal pyramid now. How many faces? Imagine the shape in front of you. It has the base that it is standing on, so that's one face. Then it has how many faces that go up to meet the point. Grade 2, listen to me very carefully. With a prism and a pyramid, you actually get it pretty easy, because you know what the shape at the bottom is, so you know how many sides it has that need to connect. So how many sides does it have that need to make faces to go up to meet the point? A pentagon has 5, so we have our base and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 faces that go up. So those 5 faces plus the base give me 6 faces. Whichever way you worked it out, if your answer is 6 faces, it is correct. Then the vertices, where the lines connect, we make our light circles. Those are all of the parts where more than one line connect. Now we count them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. How many vertices does a pentagonal pyramid have? 6. And then the last one, edges, all of my straight lines, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. How many edges does a pentagonal pyramid have? 10. Okay, we will still do some more exercises. I think we have one more coming up, or 2. This is very important information, grade 2. I want you guys to try your best, remember how to know them from each other, how to find their properties, and see the shape in front of you. I cannot say it enough. It is so much easier if you pretend like you're holding it in your hand. You can even close your eyes and feel the faces. You can even pretend like you're poking the points. It's much easier once you envision it as an object that you are holding and not just a picture on a paper. And that's for 3D shapes, because 2D shapes are pictures on papers and you only count the straight lines or the corners. Okay. I hope this helped you a little bit more. We will see how well you remember this information and how well this assisted you when we do our activity tomorrow. For now, we have to move on to our science. So get your workbook ready.